Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Your Legacy podcast, where we talk to various people to see what kind of impact they're making in the world and the legacy that they want to leave. And today, I have a special guest with me today. Her name is Tiffany N Haywood, and she is a mentor, speaker, coach, and she is the founder of Transform and Thrive Holistics, where she helps people detox their life from the inside out. Tiffany, thank you so much for being here today.
You so much for having me. That was impressive.
Oh, good introduction.
Yes. And
Yes,
so many people remove my middle initial, and I'm like, no, it's there, it's there. But thank you. This was
yes.
perfect. I don't even know how I can top that.
We've gotta acknowledge the middle initial, of course.
Yes, that's my name. That's my brand. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, I've given a brief intro there, but do you want to go ahead and tell us, tell the audience who you are and what kind of work you do specifically?
Yes, absolutely. But again, it's hard to come back after you, but I'll try my best. But as Brett did say, I am Tiffany N Haywood. I am the founder of Transform and Thrive Holistics. I am a mentor, speaker, founder, detox specialist. I do a lot. It really all encompasses my framework of detox your life. It's everything holistic. And what I do is I help individuals move from point A to B, teaching them the 4I framework that I pretty much have used in my own life to move me from A to B as far as unraveling, uncovering, detoxing, decluttering, and just pretty much, I guess I would say, putting in the transform from within one habit at a time. So yeah, yeah, that's pretty much what I live by. Absolutely. And I teach my students and my clients and my mentors the same.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great outlook. When I look into your work, I'm looking at the language specifically, detoxing, transformation from within. Okay. I mean, when we think about detoxing, we typically think about, the physical detoxing of like the body, but you focus on your work, you focus on physical, mental, emotional detoxing. Why do you think all of those parts, all of those elements of the process, why do you think they're so important to that transformation process?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're made up as one. We don't have different parts of our bodies. We don't have different parts of our beings. Everything is interconnected. So it's very impossible to focus on just your physical if you're not feeling good, if you're not spiritually aligned, because what you ultimately do to your body is based on how you're feeling. And how you're feeling is ultimately what you do to your body. So we have to put all of those in alignment because we are holistic beings. Now, it's not anything, all the woo woo or spiritual, being or way of living, but that's just really what it is. We're holistic, we're one being. So just making sure all of those are in alignment because, again, what you do with one, it impacts the other two. What you do with two, it impacts the other three. So just having them all in alignment so that you can transform from within.
Right. Yeah. As you mentioned, it's all interconnected. So if you ignore one part of it, that's going to have consequences for the whole
Yeah,
transformation process.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
what is
And that's
this?
when you fall back. And sorry, that's when you fall back. You're not consistent because if you're only focusing on one part, one dimension, one pillar, then you're neglecting the other. So it's like, how consistent can you maintain those changes or that transformation if you're not, addressing all of them at one time?
Right.
Yeah.
And so this physical, mental, emotional, holistic, whole picture detoxing and transformation from within, what does that look like in everyday life?
Yes, what that looks like in everyday life is just being a better version of yourself. And I know that sounds so small and sounds so cliche, especially, in today's, coaching industry and all of that. But it really is just being mindful of everything. And I know that sounds big and I know it sounds encapsulating, but that's just really what it is. And focusing on what you're putting into your body, whether that's what you're drinking, what you're eating, what you're seeing, what you're listening to, the environments that you're putting yourself in. all of that is just a part of detoxing mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, energetically, environmentally. It's just removing things because when we think of transformation or changing our lives, we think of adding things. But in my line of work, it's not even just about adding, it's removing things. So removing the things that no longer serve you, removing things that have expired, removing things that are not going where you are going. Because each day we wake up, we're one day older. If we really think about it. So it's inevitable to not change. Our bodies are constantly changing. The world around us is constantly changing. So you just have to know how to remove certain things because we picked up a lot along the way. And I like to say at our big age, we picked up a lot of experiences, lessons, life, just everything. So if we continue to take all of that with us, we're slowing down, we're heavy, we're drained, we're tired, we're fatigued, we're overwhelmed, we're stressed. So you just have to remove those things from your physical, from your emotional, from your spiritual, and just, make the best decisions moving forward. So that's what it looks like on a day to day is just removing things, acknowledging what no longer serves you, what have expired.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you make a great point there. And a lot of the time when it comes to these everyday practices, a lot of people who might not reflect on the things you just mentioned in their day-to-day life, they ultimately may just end up getting stuck in a pattern of habits, right? There's these habits that are in their life. Some people have, like, it might be some good habits, but there also might be some negative habits that are hindering, that aren't serving the person, that are causing them to feel drained and fatigued and all the things you mentioned. How much of who you think we are as a person, how much of that do you think really just comes down to habits that we've just repeated over enough time, over years?
Um, that's a very good question. I would say based on where we are, the people we surround ourselves with, and that goes right back into removing things. So even if it's not just something that people practice on a daily basis, which I'm not perfect, I don't, walk this line every single day. I'm imperfect. I may fall short. I may not show up as my best self. I may just not want to do the work that day. That's okay. But who we are and the impact, the beliefs, the things that other people have, I guess I would say, convinced us that we are. Who are we? Who am I? Who do I want to be? And that's just knowing your own journey. Where have I started from? Where am I now? And where do I want to go? So just doing that identity piece. Who am I? Doing that inner work, discovering who you truly are and what you want for yourself, not based on what someone else wants for you, not what someone else is doing in their lives. What do I want? You're a star player. You are the star player in your own life. And you have to focus on yourself. And it's not a selfish thing in a way, but I tell, my clients and my mentees all the time, you have to put yourself first. You just have to. And that's when you have to say no to some people. You have to start making those changes because if you yes to everything, your calendar is full, your day to day is full, life is constantly going. When do you have time to stop and sit and think and focus on who you are and what you want?
Absolutely. And like going back to what you mentioned, some people, like, you said you're not perfect and no one is. And I think a lot of people, when they maybe set a new set of habits that they want to fulfill, and maybe they backtrack a bit, or they're not necessarily measuring up to what they initially wanted, they might start to beat themselves up a little bit and feel a little guilty. What do
Yeah.
you say to someone in that situation?
Yeah, and those are limiting beliefs. That's negative self-talk. That's doubting yourself. That's second guessing yourself. That's overthinking. That's procrastination. It's lack of motivation. It turns into all of these things. But my biggest thing, and I practice the same things that I teach. Just remember your why. You're going to fall down. You're going to become defeated. You're going to feel like you just can't do it. You don't have it in you. You don't have the motivation. Go back to the drawing board and remember your why. You have to identify what's going on before you do anything. Any decision that we make, we should always think about why. Why am I doing this? You don't just do things because you do things. I know sometimes we do, but that's another conversation. But that's when we dip into the people pleasing. When you just do things because people want you to do them. But why am I doing this? and going back to your own journey. Why am I even starting this? What do I need to change and why do I need to change it? Because that's your reset button. And it's okay to reset every single time. If you get lost along the way, which is going to happen, and I tell people all the time, it's hard. Changing your life is hard, but it's so much rewarding. It's so many rewards in changing, showing up for yourself. But again, just going back to the drawing board, remembering why you need this change.
I think that's such valuable advice because that why is what drives you in the face of like it allows you to persevere in the face of like the difficulty part of it.
Yes,
Like you
absolutely.
yeah, like you said, it's difficult to change your life. And so you need to have a higher reason that is
Yeah,
like at the core of everything that you're doing and that
yeah,
emanates from there. Yeah.
yeah.
In terms of your own personal journey, which you've talked about some of those things in your content, what were some of the habits that you personally found yourself like unlearning and unpacking through your own process?
So many. My journey, this particular journey started a little over 4 years ago. And what I thought was just a detox that I was doing, I thought it was just a physical detox. I'm guilty. I thought it was just a physical detox. And when I had shut in for these 10 days, I was removing certain foods and, just really following this particular plan so strict. I started unlearning that I don't need certain things in my life. I grew up with certain things. I grew up with certain behaviors, patterns, foods, thoughts. I don't have to have those. I don't need those. I've been vegan I started vegetarianism over 4 years ago, but I've been vegan consistently for 3.5 years. And I had to unlearn I don't need meat to survive. I'm still okay. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I go to the doctor just for my regular checkup. Hey, what's going on? Nothing. But what are you here for? I just want to make sure everything is good.
Right.
Be like, I had to unlearn these things. I don't have to have certain things in my life. I don't have to be around certain people. I don't have to say yes to everything. It's okay for me to say no. It's okay to set boundaries. So unlearning a lot of these things, a lot of these behaviors and mindsets that stemmed from childhood, my environment, life, work, school, friendships, all of those things, just unlearning those different patterns. These are the things that people made me believe I had to do. I had to be, I had to think, I had to feel. But when I started doing that work, I'm unlearning, no, I don't. Because I started learning what I wanted to be, who I wanted to be. And I just started removing that's not for me. I thought it was, but that's not even part of my identity. I took on someone else's identity. I took on someone else's thoughts. I took on someone else's limiting beliefs. That's not even who I am or who I want to be. So just start removing, releasing, decluttering, and detoxing.
Right. And I could imagine that when you started to think critically about the things you were told you need to
Yeah,
be, and you
yeah,
were able to cast those things away and say, no, I don't. It was
yeah.
probably such a freeing experience because it allows you to live more authentically.
Yes, who I am, not who someone created me to be, not who someone made me think I was. This is who I am. Like I'm defining myself. I'm creating a new version of myself and I'm walking in that. I walk in that true to myself, not because someone else challenged me to do it, not because someone wanted me to do it. Because if I'm being honest, the way I live my life, no one else around me lives their life like this because I created this version of myself and I love it. I absolutely love it. Like I wake up every morning, like I feel great. I look great. Just my thoughts, just everything. Like I really have restructured my life. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can see when you speak, I can see that as well. Like the joy that you have and like especially when you talk about these
Yeah.
things, it definitely emanates from you. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you for recognizing and acknowledging that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, it's true. And like one of the other things I wanted to jump into, which we've just been talking about now, is identity. How crucial a person's identity is to the process that you're talking about. Um, we talk about habits, and I think it's fair to say that there is a connection to habits and identity because
Yes.
the habits that you engage in every single day, they start to play a role into how you identify. And it's kind of cyclical because then the
Yes.
identity you have determines the habits that you are okay with having or that you put into the world. Um, Do you want to talk a little bit more about how you think there is this potential connection between, or how there is this connection between identity and habits and how they feed into one another, and how when it comes to detoxing and inner transformation, how a person can utilize identity change to help with habit change, how those things feed into one another.
Absolutely. And you are absolutely right and correct on everything you just said, because our identity shape our habits and our habits shape our identity. It's just a cycle in everything. It's just the circle of life. Everything is in a sphere, it's circular. And who we are can be shaped by the people we're around, the things we believe, the people, the environments that we're in. And that's why with my work, it's detox your life. It's not just lose weight. It's not just pray. It's not just meditate. It's not just work out or exercise. It's everything. So you're removing habits in your physical. You're removing habits in your spiritual. You're removing habits in your emotional. And that's how you get to come back into yourself. You get to come home to yourself. This is what lives inside of me. So you can begin to identify the habits that are not yours, the habits that are no longer serving you, the habits that, yes, I may have done these things 10 years ago, but am I still that same person 10 years later? Is that who I want to be 10 years from now? And so you just really have to do that work. What habits am I holding on to that are just simply no longer for me, no longer a part of my identity and who I am choosing to be, the version of myself? And I tell people all the time, as I just mentioned, I'm not perfect at all and I don't try to be. I'm continuously growing into this version of myself, even as a business owner. I've been a business owner for less than 2 years, and I'm still growing into an entrepreneur. I'm still
Right.
growing into a business owner. I'm still growing into this speaker, this mentor. I'm still working. It's a continuous journey, but I'm knowing along the process and along the journey, there are habits that I can't take with me. If I'm going to step fully into this, be this person, be this version, I can't do certain things because that's not who I identify as anymore. And this is who I'm working on becoming.
Right.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we like to talk about, because I want to take everything you're talking about and connect it to like legacy. Um, in order for a person to leave the kind of legacy they want to leave, they're going to have to get intentional on that identity and on
Yeah.
those habits that you're talking about. And so, how do you think that relates to a person's legacy and the long-term impact? Because a person can want to change their life. How important do you think potentially thinking about legacy and the impact you want to have long-term? How does that play into the process as well?
Absolutely. I can actually say again, personal, I tell people all the time, I'm my own client first and foremost, because I pretty much walk people through exactly how I live my life. But the thing for me is people in my life are already have noticed change in me. You've completely changed your life. You were like this, you were like, so I'm leaving behind a legacy. People are, she's vegan, she's sober, she doesn't drink, she doesn't do this. I don't take medicine. I don't drink alcohol. I'm vegan. I work out 5 days a week. So even that alone, just that lifestyle change, people are inspired by that. 5 days a week. You don't drink anymore. You don't eat meat. I was a meat lover. Like eat meat as a meal, like just by itself, no sides, no vegetables, no anything. But I had to change that. So people now are inspired. And that may not be everyone's lifestyle. I don't teach anyone how to become vegan, natural, sober, whatever the case may be. I'm just giving you the tools and what applies to you. You take that and you apply it to your life. But just always knowing that regardless of what you are doing in your life, whether it's personal, professional, whatever, people are watching you and they are taking what they want from what you're doing. So always be impactful. Always show up as your best self. You don't have to show up with the mindset that people are watching. Let me do this because I know people are watching. Show up as yourself. People organically gravitate towards authenticity. People love seeing themselves in other people. And for me, I love to relate to other people in a way that I haven't always been this way. I had to do the work. I had to. So just knowing the type of impact you want to leave. What do you want to be known for? And that's the goal that you work towards. When I leave this this beautiful world, what do I want people to have to say about me? What do I want people to remember about me? The connections that I've made, the relationships that I've had, the impact that I've made, the changes that I've helped people make. Just what do you want to be known for? And that's what you strive to be.
Right. And so, you know, going on from that, one of the things we talk about on this channel is how legacy is an intergenerational process. We often think about legacy of what we're going to leave behind for the future generation, which that's an important part. But we like to think about legacy as intergenerational in the sense that it's past, present, and future. We can't forget the people who have inspired us along the way. That's their legacy.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then people think, well, how I'll be remembered one day, but there's also what we do now, right? That's a
Yeah.
big part of the legacy that we create. And it's about living the legacy
The
that you want to
living
leave. So
legacy. I
it's
love that.
past, present, and future. So one thing I like to ask people is I like to tap into each of those dimensions of legacy with the people I talk to. So in regards to the past, is there anyone in your life? It could be a parent, it could be a mentor, it could be a historical figure, it can be anyone you can think of. Is there anybody in your life who has inspired you with the things that they did or said to you previously that has left an inspiration in your life that leads you to doing what you're doing now in your journey?
Absolutely. This journey, I always knew in my mind, in my body, in my being that I wanted something different for myself. And I just didn't know where to get these things. I didn't know how, why. I didn't do all of that work beforehand. So as I mentioned, when I started that detox, it came from my holistic mentor, Orisha Oshun. And she built this life for herself and not to mimic or copy, but it's the I saw the way she lived her life, the way she taught, the way she walked in her purpose, and it inspired me so much because the detox that I do this detox several times a year. And even though I know how to create my own detox plans and lose weight and all, I always go back to her detox plan because it's so grounded. Because that was the pivot. That was the pivoting moment for me. That's what started this entire holistic journey for me, or this holistic detox journey for me. So following her, I'm a student of hers. I'm alumni of her academy, the Surviving Vegan Academy. I learned so much from her, and even still to this day, we connect, we get on video, we talk, we meet up, and she's like, "I see you doing it," and I'm like, "Yes, thanks to you." Like she really is the person that started all of this for me. And another thing too, I'm not, not to, throw any, shade at anyone, but I will say, being around people who inspire you not to be like that. And we don't like to say that, but it's the truth. It's not always about people doing what we want to do. Sometimes people are doing what we don't want to do. So
Right.
all of that played a part in where I am now. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, what was the name of the woman that you said inspired you?
Orisha
Oh,
Oshun. Yeah.
yeah.
Orisha, Orishaoshun.
Yeah. So right there for anybody watching, look her up, look into her work because I
Yeah.
think it's always great to ponder and reflect on the people who have inspired us. So we pay them the credit and
Yeah.
we pay it back to them the same way they paid it back to us. And we help to contribute to like their recognition and their legacy for the impact they've been able to make in people's lives. Because, you are a type of walking, like living example of how her work has been able to produce something so great in your life. And then
Yeah.
you with the work you're doing now can carry it forward onto others. And there might
Absolutely.
be a student of yours, in the near future who's on a podcast with the work they're doing, and they say, "Who inspired you?" And they'll say Tiffany N Haywood, her work, and that's you, and making your impact as well. Which gets back into the next question I have. So, like focusing on the present.
Yeah.
we've talked a little bit about your work, but what are some of the projects that you're currently working on? What are you excited about with the business that you're running right now? What is some of the work that you're doing that has you excited and is allowing you to make the kind of impact that you're passionate about making in the world and in other people's lives?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for this question because we oftentimes forget where we are. We worry about where we were and where we're going, and we don't really take time to sit in the present moment. So, thank you so much for posing this question. What I am excited about and what I'm working on now is I have my community, Detox Your Life community. Everything is Detox Your Life. But I do have a Detox Your Life collective. It's a community space. It's not just your typical jump in and everyone just talking. But I am so passionate about this space because we don't have a safe space in the world. And everyone is not doing the work that we're doing. A lot of people are not knowing where to go. As I mentioned, thank God for Risho Shun. I didn't know where to go. I would have started this journey years ago as she came into my life much sooner. So I create these containers and these spaces for individuals even if they don't know exactly what they want their life to look like. We don't all know. We're not perfect. We don't wake up one day and say, hey, I want XYZ. Da, 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 da. No, but you have to get into the right spaces to start that work, to start identifying with yourself and others to say, okay, this is what I want. So my community is there. That is, again, my baby. It's still, I don't want to say still growing because I actually just pivoted with a rebrand. But that is my community space, my monthly membership. I go in there live. There's courses in there, journaling, detox challenges that we do monthly. We post pictures, we post videos. We just, it's just like a community space. It's really nice in there. And then I'm also working on creating a 3-month mentorship program that will be available as like a VIP tier inside of that community for individuals who want a little bit more intensive, deeper work. That will also be available for like some one-on-one support as well as group support. So that's something that I'm rolling out within, I would say before the spring. So something maybe before the end of this month that I'm really looking forward to. And yeah, then my marketplace also too. Look, I have a lot. I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
my Detox Your Life. I have my Detox Your Life marketplace. I'm literally one button away from publishing that for that to become available. I have so many good things on there. Courses, replays, videos, plans, guides, downloads. Like it's so much good stuff in there. And that again will be available, but everything will be available on my website once everything is live and ready to go. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, you've got a lot of things you're doing. But that's great because once again, it's a testament to the passion and the dedication you have to these things because
Yes.
it it takes a lot of work. And someone who's halfway in it or someone who's just like, oh yeah, detox your life, like they're not going to be putting in that kind of work and the kind of enthusiasm I can see you have when you talk about it. It's a testimony to, how powerful this is in your own life,
Yes.
which is going to
I
help
love
you
it.
fuel to help other people in that
Yeah.
same way. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So the last question I have for you is, so we with legacy, we talked about who's inspired you in the past, talked about what you're doing now in the present, and then we talked a little bit about this a minute ago. But just to kind of once again reframe it and talk about it again, what do you want your long-term impact to be in the world? What kind of legacy do you want to leave that has a long-term impact in the lives of others? How do you want people to remember you?
Yes, absolutely. My biggest thing is we cannot change the world, but we can change who we are in the world. And that's something that I work on. That's something that I pride myself on being this person, this imperfect, flawed person that people can see. She's still showing up. She's getting knocked down. She's pushing past the same obstacles as everyone else in life. She's still showing up for other people as well as herself. So for me, I would love to leave behind my resilience, my passion, the fact that I kept pushing. I didn't allow people's, thoughts to hinder me. I didn't allow the world to consume me, swallow me up, spit me out, in a version of myself that I don't want to be. So I just want people to understand that you can do it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it scared. I'm doing it boldly. I'm doing it passionately. I'm just doing it. So just keep pushing forward and do the darn thing. As I tell people all the time, just do the darn thing. That's it.
Right. Because sometimes people, they kind of get stuck in the plan.
Yes.
The plan, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that.
Yep.
And I mean, we all have to start with the plan, but when the plan just stays a plan, that's when
That's just
sometimes
what it is.
it's just a plan. And so it's kind of like life is short and your message is do the darn thing. Go out and do it while you have the time.
Do it. If you think about it, do it. If you write it down, do it. If it's a plan, do it. Because I'm going to tell on myself. My store, my marketplace, as I call it, I've been wanting to put that out for a year now.
Hmm.
That's a whole year. And I'm finally like just do like I had I'm telling you, I'm my own student, I'm my own customer, I'm my own client. I'm always tapping into myself first because I have to walk this life as well. And I was like, you keep talking about this story, and so many people like, well, I missed that video, or I missed that workshop, I missed this. Where can I find it? And I'm like, it's gone. But just bringing all of that back, like I have so much information, I have so much content, I have so many nuggets and gems that people can really just even watch. They don't even have to catch me live. People love catching me live. Don't get me wrong. I'm always looking for you to do something, but just having a place for people to go. And I was feeling like I was doing a disservice to other people by just holding on to all of that information, storing it on my computer, just having it all set. I'm like, put that information out. People are looking
Right.
for that. People need that. So again, but this is just me telling you that I'm not perfect at all either. I've been working on this marketplace for a while, and I'm finally putting it out there. Like I'm literally one button away from publishing it. But yeah, just I had to do the darn thing. Stop procrastinating. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for this and that. Just do the darn thing.
Yeah, and that's such great advice. And it sounds like you've got with your past, present, and future, you've got a great idea of how you're going to make what sounds to be a great impact in the world, Tiffany. Thank you so much for being here today. For anybody who's interested, because you've explained a lot of very profound work that you're doing. For people who want to know more, who want to find you, where can they find you on social media, on the website? Like, where can people find you to learn more about what you're doing?
Everything is exactly as it sounds. Tiffany N Haywood is my website, tiffanyinhaywood.com. Everything is there. I'm in the process of getting my full website because of now with the marketplace and the program that I'm about to introduce. But everything will be on there soon enough, and everything on my socials, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, is the exact same, Tiffany N Haywood. And that is, I know a lot of people say Hayward, but it's Haywood. And do not forget the middle initial because you may get another Tiffany Haywood.
Yeah, you gotta find the right one.
Right, you
Um,
have to find me.
Gotta find her. Exactly, exactly. So TiffanyNHaywood.com. Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then same thing with all the socials. Yeah.
Yep, Tiffany and Haywood, the exact same at Tiffany and Haywood, everything. I tried to make it, simple and easy for
Yeah.
everyone, but yeah,
That sounds
absolutely.
great. So everyone watching, make sure you go and check her out. She's obviously going to be putting out more content on her YouTube channel, so be sure to check that out to learn more about all the things she talks about with personal transformation from the inside out and how to detox your life to have a better you and a better life as a result. Tiffany, thank you so much again for being here
Yep.
today. It was a pleasure talking with you and learning more about your work and the impact that you're making in the world. Thanks again.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. You are so, so welcome. This was a great opportunity. Thank you so much for creating this space for entrepreneurs, business owners, mentors, content creators, course creators, for us having this space to come and share, our work, our passion, what we love, and just, being able to share that across the world. So thank you so much for this space and this platform.
Yes, absolutely. All right, everybody, check in for another episode soon and have a great day. Goodbye.